Welcome to the C-Suite at Open Video series with TMX Group. I'm Arnie Goldstein, Head of Company Services based out of Vancouver. Joining me today is Jim Paterson, the CEO and the Chair of ValOre Metals Corp. Welcome, Jim. It's really nice to have you today.
Thanks for having me, Arnie. Great to be here.
So ValOre, can you give me the elevator pitch or tell me what the investment thesis is for ValOre?
Sure. We're an exploration company. We have an asset in Brazil. It's a PGM or PGE, palladium, platinum, palladium rich. ValOre is part of Discovery Group. We've got a number of successes in our group, including Great Bear, Bluestone, Northern Empire, Kaminak. We're a group that likes to acquire projects, invest money in exploration, and give our shareholders upside through the growth that discoveries produce. And we've been pretty successful at that as a group, and we're hoping to replicate that with ValOre.
I hope you do too.
Thank you.
Talk to me about some of the catalysts, near-term catalysts that can positively affect your business here.
Well, on the negative side, you've got the whole world that we're dealing with right now, the uncertainty related to COVID, but with respect to capital for precious metals projects, it seems to be readily available right now. And so that's fabulous. We've had a lot of luck actually raising money as a group over the last 6 months. With respect to catalysts on the ground at our Pedra Branca PGE project in Brazil, we will be drilling. Hopefully we'll start in the next few days here. Actually, the drilling contractors are showing up in the next 2 days to start drilling. So what that generates obviously is news flow based upon drilling success, assay results, exploration results, which is really what our shareholders and our investors are following us for.
So you mentioned that the drillers are just going to be showing up in a couple of days. So COVID, that was a COVID effect, or?
The big delay that happened really was just that the lack of precedence when you're negotiating a contract right down to things like what is force majeure in the new COVID world, right? So it just took us a little bit longer to negotiate that and get it done. And we've come to an agreement. We have all the guidelines. We want to keep their employees safe. We want to keep the people in the local towns around our project safe. We want to keep our employees safe. And so there's just a lot of care and attention taken. But elsewhere in Brazil, there's a lot going on, particularly in the bigger cities. There's just, as we talked before, it's a dynamic situation. Where we are, it's quite rural. And so, you can contain things, you can be very careful, and things are still operating. So they'll be showing up, and hopefully we'll get rocking right out of the gate next week.
That's good news. Question for you. What are the biggest challenges you're facing right now, other than, what we've already talked about, and how are you addressing those?
I think in our business, because we're not generating revenue from producing mine, we're an exploration company. I truly believe the biggest challenge for an exploration company is raising capital constantly. You're constantly out trying to raise capital and prove your value to shareholders. In the case of this sort of coronavirus, the COVID world, I think we need to clearly communicate to the people in the region surrounding our project that we're going to have their safety in mind. So that's something we just need to communicate, because it's not something that people really understand yet. There's a lot of information and misinformation. And so, you just need to make sure that you're taking the proper steps to keep them safe. That's the challenge, but I think we're dealing with it head on.
Absolutely. So for people that are watching this that are existing investors or potentially new investors, what are 3 things you'd really like to highlight and about the company and leave as a final thought with them?
The 3 things that we really like about the project, and specifically about our strategy as a company, is that we're looking for projects, and this Pedra Branca project fits the mold perfectly for ValOre, which is a project that's had significant investment by prior operators. So there's a lot of data or infrastructure to leverage off of. We like it if there's a big land package, so that if we do our job right and we make discoveries and we add value, it'll be of merit for a larger mining company to come in. It won't be a small deposit, it'll be something on a grand scale. We've got that with this project. And then with all that data, with all that mineralization that we have, how are we using innovative new technologies, allocating the best minds to the exploration program so that we can add value through discovery for our shareholders. And so we've got lots of prior expenditures by previous operators, over $35 million, over 50 kilometers in strike, great access, great infrastructure, lots of mineralization, high value mineralization. We're deploying a lot of new techniques on this project, and we're drilling starting next week. So the news flow machine will start to crank as soon as humanly possible.
Well, that's fantastic. I was just going to say, drills are about to spin. Look forward to seeing the news flow.
Thank you.
Jim, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.